I was diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in August 2008. 2 months later, my dad passed away from the same cancer.
This is Jim's story.
How many special people change? How many lives are living strange? Where were you while we were
Before I found out, my life was pretty normal for a 24-year-old. I had just got my first full-time job in investment consulting. Everything was going pretty well. I was a Wall Street trader briefly. I like playing tennis, partying with my friends, everything someone my age would do.
Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer is a blood cancer where the white blood cells multiply out of control. Unlike Hodgkin's, non-Hodgkin's spreads throughout the body. It is the 6th most common cancer in males, 7th most common in females, and 3rd most common in children ranging from newborn to 19 years old.
It started when I was playing tennis. My shoulder was hurting so bad that I couldn't even strike a ball. But at the time I didn't think much of it. I thought it was probably just a torn rotator cuff or something like that. After a few days I went to the doctor. He said that it was some weird sort of lung thing, and if it doesn't clear up in a few days, then to get an x-ray. But later that night I could tell that this wasn't going to get better, so I just went and got an x-ray right away. So the doctor came back with the x-ray and said it looks like some sort of pneumonia, but they're going to have to do a CAT scan to find out. And then that's when he came back and told me that they found a mass in my chest. My very first thought was that I feel bad for my mom. She'd been working hard to take care of my dad for the last year, and now her son had it too.
I was devastated. I think it was the worst night of my life. I could not believe it. I came home screaming at God. I screamed at the top of my lungs when I got in the house and said, "Don't you dare. Don't you even think about taking my son."
I knew that there was nothing that I could really do to make her not worry about me, but I was optimistic that everything would be okay. I had similar feelings when I was breaking the news to my friends. My friend Mike was the first person that I told, and I burst into tears as I was saying it.
I was in shock and decided to get really drunk.
From that point forward, it was really just about trying to live as normal of a life as possible.
Stephen Gano, Andrew Gano, and Mike Doherty are 3 of Jim's closest friends.
At first, I was in shock, kind of confused, only because, you know somebody for, most of your life. And for somebody to have cancer, it's not something you always think is possible for somebody so close to you.
Studies show that the survival rate of non-Hodgkin's between the years of 2001 to 2007 was 70%. This was a 23% increase from 12 years prior.
I started getting chemo, and I had to learn how my body would react so that I could take measures to counteract all the side effects. So the first week was pretty hard because you don't know what to expect. It became common everyday occurrences to have headaches, high blood pressure, joint pain, constipation, loss of taste, acid reflux, nausea, fatigue. I lost my hair. Actually, it started falling out when I was at a Phillies game, so I took the opportunity to shave my hair all off that night. It just felt better as my own choice rather than something that was happening to me.
The 2 main forms of treatment would be chemotherapy and radiation therapy.
I learned about the LLS's Light the Night Walk while I was in the hospital, and I planned on making a donation and just attending as an individual. I mentioned it to Andrew to see if he'd want to go with me, and he thought that we should form a fundraising team. At that time, they were requesting that walk teams raise a minimum of $2,000.
Well, I just knew that we still had at least a month of fundraising, and although raising $2,000 seemed like a lofty goal, I took that like a challenge. I asked a few friends here and there, and everyone was interested, so it just it just took off.
The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is the largest voluntary health organization dedicated to blood cancer. The LLS funds blood cancer research and patient services. The LLS has funded nearly half of the FDA-approved drugs in the past decade.
The first year we kept things pretty simple because we didn't know anything about fundraising, so we just asked friends and family to donate. To my surprise, we raised $2,700. The second year, we ended up doing a lot of different things. We hosted a 5K, poker tournament, a school fundraiser. We got some local restaurants involved. In the end, we surpassed our goals again and raised $7,000 that year. We also won an award that year for the highest percentage increase. So in 2011, we began all the things that we had done the previous year. But then my friend Carlo said to me that he can help us by getting a corporate match from Apple, and they would match up to $10,000. And we started fundraising at tailgates, baseball games, NFL games, college football, just anywhere a game was going on. We were able to raise $28,036, and that made us the top fundraising team in the greater Philadelphia region.
Rose Gano and Robert Lacourt have been participating members on Team DeMassey.
When I found out that we were the #1 team in 2011, I was actually really excited and happy that the hard work and everything that we've done so far as a team really paid off.
It felt amazing. Just a group of friends and family came together for a great cause, and not only to raise a lot of money, but to raise awareness as well.
It's pretty exciting.
It was actually very exciting because we never imagined it to just take off like it did.
So now after almost 3 years of remission, I'm working as a financial advisor and investment manager at a business that I started earlier in 2011 that also I named after my dad. I'm still pursuing my professional goals of obtaining my Chartered Financial Analyst designation, and I'm making more time to travel and see the world. I'm living my life how I want to live it, and that's what matters the most to me. That's success to me. Being diagnosed and surviving cancer, I think, was a gift, really. When you realize how easily everything can be taken from you, then you quickly learn what really matters in your life.
The development of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma cancer has yet to be determined. While you were listening to this, 2 people were diagnosed and 1 person died from blood cancer.